Today, I'm going to provide an overview of Apporto from the faculty perspective. I've already logged in as a faculty user from either a single sign-on or my learning management system. The first page that I come to is called the App Store, and this is where I can see all of the desktops and applications that I have permissions to. I can also see any relevant announcements, access help and support, and I also have access to a few features that give me the opportunity to view analytics, schedule, and customize some of the features that my students will see. We'll come back to these a little bit later. To start, I'm going to launch the Windows desktop. Now, this takes a couple of seconds to launch because we're going to a server in the cloud, and we're starting up the Windows operating system. Once the desktop has fully launched, you'll see all the software that is installed there, and in the top menu, you'll see a series of icons for various features. Your students have access to all of the same features except two of these, including the virtual classroom and the presentation capabilities. Before going through these, it's worth noting that in the upper right corner, there's a network indicator. This is a little like the 5-bar indicator on your cell phone, but in this case, it's telling you how fast your network is responding. If all 5 bars are full, you have a fast and responsive network. If you only see 1 or 2 bars, your network is a little bit slow. For most applications, you can get away with an average network, but if you're using something that is graphic intensive, maybe a Photoshop or video editing tool, you'll want to make sure that you have a very fast network in order to ensure responsiveness in Apporto. Okay, with that said, we can go ahead and get started in some of the key tasks that you may have when teaching students either asynchronously or synchronously. For example, before your class starts, you may want to access files and share them with your students. The easiest way to do this is to upload a file using the File Upload option in the menu. And this will give you access to all of the files on your own device. For example, I want to upload my syllabus, I just hit Upload. And this is a very small file, so it uploads immediately. If I had uploaded a video file, this could take a few minutes, and I would see the progress as the file uploads in this progress bar in the bottom right corner. I'm going to close that, and I see now my syllabus file is on my desktop. The next step to share this with my students is to open a shared folder, and this is something that would be configured by your administrator. And I see, for example, the Math 101 group that I teach. I can navigate into that shared directory and simply drag and drop my file into that folder. Now, when any student in my Math 101 class logs in, they'll be able to access the syllabus. Another option you have if your university uses cloud storage services such as Google Drive, OneDrive, Box, or Dropbox would be to use the Cloud Mounter tool to mount a drive, one of those drives. Then you can play us all of the files you need there and share the directory with your students so they can also access the files. Okay. And once you have all of your files, the next thing you may want to do is communicate with your students. And we have a messenger feature that works the same way as any other messenger, for example, like Facebook Messenger. And you can expand this. And what we do that's unique is we automatically populate all of the students in your classes if these groups have been set up by your administrator. So, for example, if I drill down within Math 101, I see 2 of my students, Abe and Amber, have already logged in. If I wanted to reach out and say, "Hey, how can I help?" I can send that message. I could even call if I just wanted to help out and clarify a question very quickly. Another tool that you have to collaborate with students one-on-one is screen sharing. And in this case, I've logged in here. For example, as Amber, the student, would have to initiate this. So they could simply opt to share screens, copy a link, and put it in either a chat or an email to me. And then what I could do is open a new browser, paste that link, and now I'm able to see exactly what Amber is doing and help answer any questions. The student has full control over this. They can stop sharing at any point in time. And once they've stopped sharing, both Messenger and screen sharing enable me to help students in real time one by one. If I had asynchronous, I might want to monitor all of my students as though I were in a physical computer lab or classroom and could walk around and kind of look over their shoulder and see what they're doing. I might also want to present to them in real time so that I could demonstrate something and they could hear me describe or walk through an application. I'm going to start with the classroom. So I simply double-click to launch the classroom. and I see that 2 of my students are already logged in. As each new student logs in, their desktop will appear here too, and you can imagine this page would be full if I had a class of 20 or 40 students. I can also access Messenger here to be able to quickly communicate with anybody in the class. And I can view what the students are doing in real time. So, for example, if I go back to Amber's desktop, Amber might be launching Mathematica, and I can see what's happening within the classroom. And this will help me monitor and see who's keeping up and maybe who's getting stuck at any point in time. From the student's perspective, they now have the option, for example, to raise their hand. And Abe is going to raise his hand. And when I go back to the classroom, I can see that his desktop is highlighted and his hand is raised. So in order to help him out, I'm going to click to view his desktop a little larger. And I can now see in the title bar that I'm viewing Abe's screen. If I wanted to help him even more, I can request remote control. And what Abe will see is a request that faculty is asking for permission to remotely control his desktop. He can decline or accept. In this case, he'll accept. And then, within the classroom, my title bar changes, and I can see that I can now control his screen. This allows me to click within his screen, help him launch Mathematica, maybe help him find out where our syllabus is located within the shared folder, and generally, if he's stuck at any point, help answer any questions. In parallel with viewing his desktop, I can then open Messenger, and I see that, whereas before I saw all of my students, now that I've zoomed in on Abe's screen, Messenger is filtered so that I can communicate directly with Abe. And when I'm done, I simply close that view and go back to the classroom. Another tool that I have as a faculty user is the option to present to my class. Simply click, choose the class that you want to present to. In this case, Math 101. You can turn on your microphone if you want students to hear your voice, or you can just demonstrate by sharing your screen. When I've shared my screen, students will see a notification, and they have a couple of different options. They can open it in the same page or a brand new browser tab. In this case, Abe is just going to view my screen as a frame-in-frame, and Amber is going to opt to view my screen in a new tab. Then, when I'm done presenting, all I need to do to stop is hit Stop Sharing. Okay, so that's a bit about how to manage your class in real time. A couple of things that you can do to prepare ahead of time for a class include customizing the features that your students will see. And you'll only be able to customize features for students in your own classes. So, for example, I'll select Math 101, and I might want to, for example, turn off Messenger during an exam. All I need to do is disable Messenger. And as well, screen sharing might not be a great idea during an exam if I don't want students to collaborate or potentially cheat, so I'll go ahead and disable that as well. The next time my students log in, they will not have access to either screen sharing or Messenger in their menu options. When the exam is done, I can simply go back and re-enable these features. Another tool that you have to prepare for a synchronous class is the calendar. And one of the reasons for this is that when you have a large number of students logging into a portal all at the same time, there can be a delay if we need to start multiple servers. It can take 30 seconds to 2 minutes to start up each subsequent server, and if you have 20 students or so, that can add up. That could take 5 to 10 minutes. So, to prevent any delay, you should always schedule the servers ahead of time. The way to do this is simply go into the calendar, scroll to find the date of your course. So, for example, let's say that I have a class March 8th, 4 p.m. that requires Photoshop. I can make sure that the servers are running ahead of time for my class. If the class is every week, I can set up a recurrence, a weekly recurrence. One last feature that is specific to faculty is called the Faculty Dashboard. First, you select the course that you have permission to, and next, the application. In this case, the Windows desktop. Now I can see a list of all of my students. I can see a graph of how much total time users have spent using the Windows desktop. The 50th percentile is this blue dashed line. I can see the 25th percentile and the 75th. If I wanted to compare a particular student, for example Amber, I simply click on Amber. And this red line shows me her, how much time she has spent. So she's up, in some cases, above the 75th percentile. And perhaps there's a student who's complaining that maybe they haven't gotten the grade they want. I can go in and just check and see. And it looks like maybe Anthony hasn't spent very much time at all, or maybe he got stuck. He tried to log in and had some troubles. And then, if that's the case, I see his email right here, so I can easily reach out and offer assistance. And with that, we have covered an introduction to the faculty experience in Apporto. Should you have any questions, you can always reach out using the support request link in the upper right corner. Thank you.